Well, welcome to Christian Answers. This is Pastor Jeff Short, your Bible teacher and cultural analyst, and today we're going to be looking at a internet viral video clip that has been going around for, I think, about a month now, and that is a Mormon dating show in which a young woman here is explaining herself to a group of young men who might want to date her, and they can't see her and she can't see them, but she's explaining enough about herself to hope that maybe one of them would ask her out for a date and she could accept or reject that invitation. But it has gained a viral status because when she presented herself and then the invitation for some of the boys or men to step up and respond, not one of them did. And so this young woman was totally defeated, crushed by the rejection of all of these young men. And the question is why? Why did they reject her? Why wasn't her appeal and her description of herself enough to attract at least one of them to ask her out on a date? And so we're going to go through this whole situation and try to explain why perhaps these young men did not want to date her, especially given the context of this show. So let me go to the beginning of the show and sort of set a context as to what is taking place here. It says it's 20 Mormons blind date, The Altar, Season 1, Episode 1. And this is a program, I guess, in Utah amongst Mormons. Utah is a heavily Mormon state. And so this is a sort of a insider Mormon program with Mormons on both sides. The men, the young men, and the young women are all Mormons. So let's find the context here and try to set the tone for what they're trying to do, what they're trying to achieve with this show.
Hi, I'm Remington, and welcome to The Altar. We've gathered together 10 single men and 10 single women all across Utah Valley.
Okay, so you have right off the bat an expectation that these dates could possibly and hopefully would lead to a marriage at the altar, the wedding, at a church, in the Mormon church, I guess, here, because it's out in Utah with Mormons. And so the expectation is dating with an eye to marriage. Okay, so they all know that. The show is called The Altar. You can't get any more clear than that. So this is not just a regular dating program or dating show like The Dating Game or whatever, where there's no future expectation, there's no vision for marriage down the road. It's just men and women trying to find a date and nothing more, nothing less than that. No, this is actually a show that has right at the beginning the expectation that they're hoping that this will lead to a marriage. So that's a very important context when we find out why, or try to explain why perhaps maybe none of these young men wanted to ask Riley out, the girl that we saw in the picture there. So let's continue.
They'll be coupling up and going on a journey of love, starting from love at first sight and ending at the altar. We'll be eliminating couples over 3 rounds until...
Again, the expectation, the end goal seems to be marriage. And so they all have that in their minds when they're going into this. And so you would think that they would present themselves in that light. But that is not how they present themselves, as we'll find out.
We have 1 couple left who will win our date giveaway package, sponsored by Cozy Earth and these amazing companies. All right, let's get started.
All right, y'all. Hi, I'm Madeline Welch.
My name is Jordan Signer.
I'm Brooklyn.
Hi, I'm Allie.
I'm Riley.
I'm Millie Sundahl.
My name's Katie Franson.
My name is Alyssa.
My name is Sheridan Vest.
Hi, my name is Skylar Pettingill. I'm 26 years old and I'm from Farmington, Utah.
From Salem, Utah.
From Payson, Utah. I'm from American Fork, Utah.
I live in Provo and I'm going to BYU.
So most of them are from Utah.
Well, this is exciting.
Let's go. Hi, girls. Hi. Are you ready for love? They're not ready.
Hi, I'm Hollis.
My name is Ben Miles Mills.
How's it? My name is Jensen Amma.
My name's Nick.
Hey, I'm Scott.
I'm Enrique.
My name's Dakota.
I'm Max Rawlings.
Hello, I'm Sam Lesweir.
My name's Finn McEwen. I'm 21 and I'm from Leeds, England.
I am a sales bro. I did door-to-door for 4 years and I still throw down some sales every single day.
I hate the sales bro stereotype. I am very anti. I'm just kidding. I actually totally a sales bro. That's literally what I do. That's how I make all my money, and that's who I am.
Round 1 is called Love at First Sight. The rules are simple. We'll have one of our contestants come forward and introduce themselves. If one of the other contestants think they sound interesting, they'll come up and chat between the curtain. If they couple up, we'll drop the curtain and they get to move on to the next round. We only have room though for 7 couples. Let's get started.
Okay, so again, it's underscored, expectation, marriage is the goal. You have to have that in mind, even though it may not end in marriage, the date, or you may find that you're interested to pursue a marriage. But the clear expectation here, the show's name is The Altar, and the emphasis was that you're dating with an eye to marriage. Again, that's important when we see what happens.
Okay, the first woman who wants to introduce themselves, step forward.
Okay, I'm Riley. I'm 24. I'm from Houston, Texas. And
So she's 24, and she's from Texas. She's 24, though. So she's probably after college. College is all done for her, probably. And she either has a career or she's going on further to graduate college or whatever. But this is a time, 24 is a time not only to start thinking about marriage, but to actually take steps to begin to pursue a long-term relationship and think about family and think about adult responsibilities, because she's not like 18, she's not 19, 20, 21, even 22, she's 24. So that is what you would expect to hear, but you don't hear that from her.
honestly, I'm down for any good adventure. I just got scuba dive certified and I'm planning to go to Australia this summer, so I'm super excited about that.
Okay, so she got scuba dive certified. And she's planning on going to Australia this summer. So she's traveling across the globe to the other side of the world, which in the eyes of these guys probably says, okay, lots of money, lots of expenses. She went and got scuba dive certified, so she probably had to pay for that. Sounds like she's into spending a lot of money on a lot of different adventures and sports at this time. And that is not communicating, to be really frank, that is not communicating wifely material at this time in her life. She's 24. So, and the show's expectation is the altar at a church for marriage. And these guys are thinking, okay, we're looking for a dating opportunity, but we're also looking long range for wife material. And so far, Riley is not giving them that material. She's communicating that she loves adventure. She loves to do exciting things, a lot of exciting, expensive things. And they're probably thinking their pocketbook and saying, wow, you know, I'm struggling to get my career off the ground. and to make some money. And hopefully in the near future, I can find the right woman and settle down, and we can begin to build a family and have kids and own a home and begin to get established as adults. And yet here's a woman who talks about scuba diving lessons and going to Australia, traveling around the world. And she doesn't seem to be ready to settle down. She doesn't seem to have marriage in mind. She seems to want to play and goof off and have fun and just do things, exciting things, the way, say, just out of high school or even in college, you might do, carefree and responsibility-less. But they're not hearing the right thing. And I think Riley is disqualifying herself from consideration from these guys because she's not being a serious adult at this stage of her life. She's not hinting at all about being ready to enter the responsible world of adulthood, settling down, building a marriage, building a family. I don't hear that at all from her. So that's probably a main reason why a lot of these guys, or all of the guys, did not choose her after they had the opportunity.
And then I just picked up skiing like 2 years ago.
Again, she picked up skiing 2 years ago. So she is communicating all these activities and all of this fun, adventures, everything moving, constant moving parts, fast living, pursuing hobbies and everything like that. Is that really what these guys are looking for in wifely material at this point in their lives? Probably not.
And I honestly love any themed party. Like, those are like my favorite things to go to.
Okay, now she's saying she loves parties, theme parties. So she's still got this mentality of almost a high school girl who is just having fun, enjoying life as it comes before she has to settle down and have responsibilities like every adult has to do eventually. But she's still in that party mode. Hey, we got a theme party over here. Let's go to that. Let's go to this. Let's throw a party. And these guys are saying, wait, I thought this was a show about possibly finding a marriage partner and starting a strong long-term relationship on this dating show called The Altar. And all we're hearing from Riley here is just goofing around and having fun the way, say, a freshman in college might do once she entered college, and just partying and doing all the fun things that she can think of doing and spending all of her time and energy and money doing those things instead of looking to the future and responsibilities and starting to get more of an adult mindset. Now, I have to say off the bat, there's nothing actually wrong with what Riley is saying in and of itself. She's not saying anything sinful. She's not saying anything wrong. She's not being mean or selfish in any sense. So there's nothing in and of itself wrong with what she's describing and what she likes to do. The problem, again, is the context in which she's saying this. She's not a high school student anymore, and she's not even in college anymore. She's past that age. She's at the point where you would really think, as a woman, that she would begin to think in terms of finding that man that she could eventually marry and settle down and raise a family and start a long-term family, buy a home, and take on responsibilities of an adult. But no, all they're hearing, again, is just, let's have fun, let's have adventures, I need somebody to help me do that.
My favorite things to plan, and I'm looking for someone that wants to be my adventure buddy, and it's someone that I can trust in and is going to be...
That wants to be her an adventure buddy. So here's another aspect that might have turned the guys off from her a little bit. And that is, she seems to have a really big agenda. She seems to already have her plans. She seems to have a huge to-do list, you might say bucket list, of things that she is going through. And it sounds like she is pursuing that very strongly and firmly. And so now she's saying, I need an adventure buddy. I need somebody to go along with me and to maybe be my backup or travel companion or whatnot. I need you to join me in my agenda, because it sounds like she has a really strong agenda. And again, that is not something that you want to communicate if you're a woman, if you are looking to marriage, and if you're looking to especially Christian biblical marriage, where we see in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, for example, Adam and Eve, God put Adam and Eve together in the garden, and that constitutes the first marriage. And it says that Adam was in need of a helper or a helpmate. And Riley doesn't seem to be having that vision for herself as a woman to be a helpmate to some man. All she's doing is saying, this is what my plans are, and this is what my agenda in life is, and I just need a man to join me in my strong, firm plans and agenda, and I'm recruiting the man to join me in my thing. And that is not the biblical role. That is not the biblical vision of a woman. In fact, it's totally opposite. The biblical vision of a woman is to be a helper to her husband, to come up alongside of him and help him, hopefully help him to be a godly man and pursue God's vision for his life and a biblical plan for marriage and family and so on and so forth, and to be the helpmate. She doesn't want to be the helpmate, it seems like. She wants a helpmate. She wants the man to be the helpmate. And what does she want the man to do, these young men to do? To step up and be a travel buddy, travel companion for her as she pursues her vision for world travel, high adventure, scuba diving, skiing, going here, going there. He's going to keep up with her. He's going to, grab the luggage and maybe pack the bags and be her assistant as she pursues her life of adventure. And that is not a biblical vision of a wife in a marriage. So, doesn't show much biblical wifely material here. It shows almost like a high school girl or a young college girl just having fun. And I think she struck out because these guys have something more in mind than just goofing around, hanging out with this woman, being in her friend zone, for example, and having her just say, well, we're just friends. And he travels with me, and he's there for security and companionship and all these other things. But that is not, I don't think, what these guys are looking for. And obviously they did not choose to not one of them chose to date her.
Be there for me.
Aww.
Now, the women felt that Riley's presentation was pretty good because she said what she really felt, and they were touched by the fact that she just needed someone to help her travel and be an adventure buddy for her. Now, let's watch the reaction of the guys.
I wanted to go first because I thought all of these amazing people I'm with, I got to know them before the show, are literally amazing. And I felt like I needed to stand up and put myself out there first so I could at least put myself out there and there was a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, if any gentleman would like to get to know Riley more, please step forward.
Now, this is awkward because not one of them felt that what they heard coming from her was something they wanted to start a relationship with. And again, there are so many different reasons. I think one of the things they heard was this woman is going to be very expensive because she's got big plans of world travel. She's going to Australia, and so if I'm going to start a relationship with her, she's already planned this trip to Australia, that if I'm her boyfriend, I'm going to have to go there also. And then I'm going to have to spend thousands of dollars on this trip. And who knows how many thousands of dollars. It could be 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And I think some of these guys are like, wait a minute, I'm struggling right now to make it financially, to establish myself in a career. I can't be away from my job for a month, traveling to Australia, hanging out there. I can't afford a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 trip to Australia just to have fun, because I'm struggling to establish myself in my career. And so they're thinking more like adults. And I think they also might have felt that agenda drivenness of Riley and said, well, wait, she's got everything planned out. I mean, what about my leadership? The male model in the Bible is that the man is the head of the house. He's the one that initiates and leads in the relationship, and the woman graciously responds and follows lovingly. And so they're looking at her life and saying, she's got it all mapped out. She's got it all planned. She seems to have that all firmly determined. What would I add to that except just maybe follow her along? And that's, again, reverse of what the Bible talks about in a relationship between a man and a woman, especially marriage. So, and she didn't mention anything about family or settling down or dream of buying a home, raising kids. She didn't have anything. She doesn't say anything about the things that men care about when they're trying to look long-term down the road for a wife. And so Riley struck out, and she did so because she is acting not as mature as you would think a woman her age would act. And I think these guys picked up on that. They're looking around and they're like, nah, I don't want to try that because, again, for the reasons stated.
They're nervous. They're scared.
Now, that is extremely awkward for Riley here. And I feel for her because, again, she was brave enough to be the first one to speak. But again, she does not seem to carry these vision and plan for what these guys are looking for in a wife. You know, marriage is not just goofing off and having fun and traveling all around and seeking adventure where you can find it. Marriage is more settling down and establishing a firm foundation for a family later on with children, and establishing a career and a source of income and stability and a loving relationship, more local. So she totally missed it as far as appealing to, I think, what these guys are looking for.
Anyone? Come on.
Hey, Riley, we're going to have you sit down, but thank you for introducing yourself.
Ouch. That hurt. That really hurt.
I think I probably shouldn't have gone up first. But I mean, I put myself out there.
No, it wasn't about you going first necessarily. It was about your vision and what you communicated about your values in your life right now. And they don't match a lot of what guys are looking for in a woman who might possibly be their wife.
I'm proud of what I put out there. It kind of is not the best thing when no one stood up. Like, it is a little frustrating. It feels like no one ever wants to, like, pick me. Not that I want to be a pick-me girl, but it is nerve-wracking, but it happened, and it is what it is.
Dating in Provo.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she got it, but maybe she will get it when this goes viral, and it has gone viral, and people start commenting a lot about it. She'll get the message that, hey, what she said was all fine and good. If you're in high school, or if you're just starting out in college, or you're in your early 20s, but if you get near the midway mark in your 20s, at 25 and up, 24 and up, and you start thinking about it, you really have to settle down. You have to begin to think long term. You have to begin to have a vision for a marriage and family. And if you ever want to get married or you want to raise a family, you have to be responsible, and you have to start thinking about responsible and practical things. And scuba diving and taking a big trip to Australia and all these other adventurous things, those don't fit in to the most people can't do that when you're just starting out. And most guys cannot afford to do that. They can't afford, again, like I mentioned, time away from work, and they can't afford the actual money. They don't have the money. They're struggling in today's economy, especially. So unless you're independently wealthy and you come from an extremely rich family, you just can't be flying around and just goofing off. You have to actually knuckle down and get to establishing yourself in the adult world and taking on adult responsibilities. And she did not communicate her desire to take on adult responsibilities in the real world. No mention of family vision, marriage vision, establishing a home, setting up a home, getting plugged into the community, making connections, church. Now, this is in the Mormon context, and Mormons actually are not Christians. They are not a Christian denomination. They're actually a different religion because they don't believe in the one God of the Old Testament and the New Testament. They believe in an infinite number of gods, that there is no one all-powerful God. There are just infinite number of powerful gods, and they have a really bizarre idea of who God is and so forth. So they're not Christian, but they try to model themselves after, use the same language as Christianity. So in this context, it could be really any denomination or church where these young people come from. And if they're trying to do anything according to the biblical view of marriage and dating and so on and so forth, there has to be mention of something more than just having fun and just pursuing happiness in the sense of adventure and excitement and partying. She mentioned partying again. Wow, that kind of talk would make sense from an 18-year-old or even a 20-year-old or 21-year-old, 22-year. But you're getting 24, past college. You're getting into middle ages of 20s. And so you have to start thinking of responsibilities as an adult. And she didn't communicate that. And that, I think, showed up in the boys rejecting her.
A little frustrating. It feels like no one ever wants to pick me. Not that I want to be a pick me girl, but it is nerve-wracking, but it happened, and it is what it is.
Dating in Provo can be rude.
It is what it is. Okay. Well, hopefully she'll get the message at some point and get it all straightened out and realize that, hey, if I want to find a long-term relationship with a man and settle down and married and raise children, I'm going to have to communicate more than just, I like to have fun and pursue hobbies. I'm passionate about that. And I want to line up behind the man's agenda and become a helper and not be the one that has the agenda trying to recruit the man to her plans. So just some commentary on this. We'll see you back next week on another edition of Christian Answers. God bless.